Hey, what's going on, Summoners? My name is Tia, and today we're going to be looking at 10 broken champion abilities that needed a rework. Whether it was due to excessive healing, high damage output, or overall lack of counterplay, these abilities often made the champion pretty difficult to deal with. We'll be going over a few champions from the past few years, so be sure to stay tuned. Starting us off strong, we've got a blast from the past with Yorick's ult. While Yorick's kit used to be extremely different, his ultimate was always extremely powerful. The rest of his kit consisted of summoning spells that would spawn in goals to attack the enemy, and to fit this theme, his ultimate did as well. Old Yorick's ult would spawn in a clone of your selected ally, so that if your ally were to be slain, this ghost would allow them to be temporarily reincarnated for round 2. While it doesn't permanently save them, it can be a massive game changer, especially for a hyper carry. After his rework, Yorick's kit fits his champion a lot better. Instead of an ultimate that can give your carry 2 lives, he now has the ability to split push better than anyone. Overall, a lot of people may miss his old R, but it was in exchange for the far more interactive basic abilities that he has now. While we're on the topic of single target ultimates, old Poppy was quite infamous for her ultimate. While her kit remains somewhat the same, Poppy's old ult is really what defined the champion. Similar to Mordekaiser's current ultimate, it allowed her to 1v1 any champion she chose. However, the difference is that they don't get sent to another realm. Instead, Poppy would just not be able to be CC'd nor take damage from any other champion, and would deal extra damage to whoever she marked. Not only did this allow her to dive hyper carries and burst them, but she could also ult the tank and rush towards the enemy mid or ADC, since they wouldn't be able to damage her. While Poppy's rework helped her a ton overall, it is sad to see such a unique ultimate leave us, even if it was reincarnated with Mordekaiser. Overall, at least her kit is not only far more interactive, but better for her as a champion. Before we dive into our next champion ability, don't forget to check us out at ProGuides.com, where you can view our great catalog of coaches, courses, and overall, a walkthrough to your dream rank. While you're there, don't forget you can use the discount code RANKUP2021 to get 20% off your next subscription. If you've always been curious about how far ProGuides can take you, now's your chance. Nonetheless, let's get back into the video. Next up, we've got a champion who actually had 2 pretty powerful abilities. Old Scion was well known for being a bit of a meme champion whenever he would go full AP. However, he was fairly deadly due to his Q. He would shoot out a lock-on ability that would not only stun the target, but it would do a significant amount of damage that scaled with 100% of your AP. Alongside this hefty, undodgeable CC ability, Scion's passive only added to the possible dangers of facing him. With his passive, Scion would have upwards of a 40% chance to quite literally ignore damage when he was attacked. This means if you were unlucky enough, he could ignore your entire burst combo and end up not taking any damage. While the new Scion is a ton of fun, it's important to take a look back at just how bland the old one felt, not to mention how strong his alternative builds were. Although the rework Scion can go full lethality and still be a hyper tank, so not much is to be said for his ability to play weird roles. Regardless, Scion's abilities were given far more counterplay and skill expression rather than random RNG reliance and undodgeable skills. Similar to Scion's undodgeable Death Gaze, Urgot had quite the combo to deal with anyone who dared walk into range. Being one of the original ranged solo laners, Urgot often found it difficult to fit into the meta. That being said, even if he did struggle a little bit, he was still fairly powerful once he finished his Mirror Mana for one sole reason. Urgot's E and Q combo was extremely deadly, especially for squishier targets. His E was a small AoE ability that would reduce armor, deal damage over time, and allow his Q to lock on. While his Q was a mediocre Ezreal clone, when combined with his E, it became extremely deadly. No matter how hard a shorter ranged carry tried, if they got hit by your E, they would lose a ton of health as your small knife flew in like a heat-seeking missile. Overall, Urgot's old abilities were pretty bad and more of a meme than anything else. They did, however, offer little counterplay at times and were extremely annoying to deal with. His rework did him a lot of justice though, as it not only made his ultimate and passive far more useful, but it made him feel far more involved as a solo laner. Next up, we've got a rework that actually upset quite a lot of people. Regardless, Aatrox's old passive ability was quite powerful even if the champion himself wasn't for quite a while. After a few buffs, Aatrox became quite the monster long ago, as he was able to consistently heal his damage while also having a powerful gap closer. Alongside this, his passive gave him a second chance to fight. Similar to Anivia, he would enter a phase where he was unable to deal damage. However, as he healed from death, he was able to move and was also untargetable. This not only gave him a chance to reposition himself, but also made it so the enemy was forced to wait for him to fully revive before being able to finally finish him off. While new Aatrox may no longer feel like the same champion, he's still equipped with far more interactive abilities. That being said, a lot of people do feel like he's no longer the same champion. Nonetheless, he's undergone one of the biggest changes in Summoner's Rift today, and it seems like Riot has learned their lesson as seen with their previous reworks. Before we continue on with our list, let's go over our question of the day. If you could revert one rework, what would it be? It doesn't have to be a major rework either. Personally, having Katarina being able to shunpo to wards was a stable mechanic that I wish never got removed. But enough about me, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, let's get right back into the video. Maokai's current reputation is held high on his ability to harass the enemy as a support to a disgusting degree. Alongside this poke, he's also a powerful tank in the top lane as well. While his engage is strong with his current ult, his old one made him an incredible support champion. It was pretty ugly, but it was a decently sized AoE that reduced damage done to him and his allies by 20%. Alongside this damage reduction, he doubled all the damage taken up to a cap. Sure, it may not have nuked anyone afterwards, but its reduction was amazing in a team fight, especially when dealing with fighters and assassins. This means not only will your carries survive more often, but it'll also deal a nice chunk of damage to anyone around them. Overall, Maokai still continues to play the role of a supportive tank. Even though now he's closer to an engage style 1, nonetheless he's got some fun outplay potential and can be pretty annoying to deal with, especially with those massive saplings. Next up, we've got Akali's W. And no, we're not talking about the original Akali's W. We're talking about the freshly reworked Akali Shroud. You know, the one that could dodge turret aggro? Yeah. This ability was quite the rage when it came out, and it often led to full Reddit posts criticizing its ability to, well, not only be invisible under turret, but also dodge the aggro. Since it was able to last for a few months, Akali players quickly learned how easily they could dive the enemy with their new shroud and often took advantage of it. This W effect has since been removed and no longer provides true invisibility anymore. While it's definitely great that there is now some kind of counterplay to it, it'd be interesting to see Riot explore another method of dodging turret aggro like that. Except, of course, without having extremely high amounts of burst behind it. Overall, her new W is still pretty annoying to play against, but at least now she won't bully you under turret as a melee champion. As we draw closer to the end of the video, we've got an ultimate that really did define the term overpowered for a lot of players. While old Fiora's kit had a ton of damage and overall powerful abilities, nothing stands equal to the power of her ultimate. Not only did it deal an incredible amount of damage, but Fiora was healing for insane amounts during the invulnerability as well. This meant if she was ever fed, she could dive your team, and once she got low, she could simply ult. Which means she most likely killed 2 of your teammates, healed to full HP, and has now stalled long enough for her allies to arrive. Overall, it's great to not see Fiora's old ultimate in the game. Plus, her new kit is not only way more fun, but it fits the skill expression of her identity as a prime duelist. Don't forget, if you want to join an amazing community of people like you that love lists and talk pieces like this, check out our Discord using the link found in the description below. We offer a lot of cool stuff for free, as well as some great high elo players in our question and answer sessions. So what are you waiting for? Join! Regardless, we got a few more champions, so be sure to stay tuned. Let's get right back into the video. Next up, we've got an ability from the old Eye of Twilight, Shen. While a majority of Shen's kit was brought back into his reworked one, his Q definitely underwent the most change. Old Shen's Q threw a dagger, similar to the old Katarina, that would deal damage and allow him to heal quite a bit when he dealt damage to the target. While this doesn't sound strong on paper, it often led him to winning duels, outlasting carries, and being able to solo objectives like Baron fairly early on. It's a relatively basic ability, but being able to sustain through laning phase and 1v1s make it incredibly dangerous, especially for how massive the healing was. Overall, Shen's rework was amazing and really put together the champion. Plus, now instead of a weird throwable sword thingy, you actually have a spirit one that follows you around. I don't know about you, but that seems way cooler. Last, but certainly not least, we have Nidalee. This champion single-handedly taught many players how important it was to not stand still. While her Q is essentially the same ability, it used to have significantly more damage. Alongside it being able to one-shot you from as early as level 9, it was incredibly difficult to dodge as it was much longer range and had a wider projectile. While her kit is relatively the same, she's far more fun to play and offers a lot more counterplay. Plus, I'm sure no one else misses getting one shot from a spear, especially when Nidalee is far behind. Before we end off the video, we'd like to give an honorable mention to our old friend Galio. While the damage on this champion wasn't crazy, his ultimate ability was pretty nuts for what it did. Galio's old kit was honestly quite an interesting one. It was one of the first supportive tank kits where they could not only peel their allies, but also shield them or redirect damage in some kind of way. While Galio's W was pretty interesting, it's been reincarnated into Knight's Vows passive, so we'll be looking at his ult instead. His old ultimate, Idol of Duran, was a Nunu-sized AoE that taunted everyone in the vicinity. Alongside the taunt, Galio would deal a percentage of the damage taken as bonus damage, which means he could almost one-shot carries at times. That being said, he lacked the mobility to use his ultimate to its greatest effectiveness, which is what made it a bit underwhelming. The ability itself is rather powerful and unique, so it's a bit sad to see that it was removed with his rework. At least, part of it lives on within his new W. Plus, the rest of his kit works far smoother and allows for the true supportive nature that old Galio would have wanted. Nonetheless, that sums up our video for today. Thank you guys so much for watching and just listening to my voice. I'm still getting over a little bit of a cold, but I appreciate every single one of you guys. Don't forget to join our ProGuides family over at ProGuides.com. We offer exclusive giveaways and classes that you won't catch anywhere else, so stay tuned and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you beautiful and handsome faces in the next video. Don't forget to stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Oh, and go eat a cookie, because why not? It's it's a beautiful day. So do that. Unless you're on a diet, then don't do that. Okay, bye-bye.